Sarah, a young woman in her mid-20s, walks briskly down a bustling city street. Tall buildings line the road, their facades reflecting the sunlight. Pedestrians rush past her in all directions, engulfed in a sea of noise and movement. She wears a light blue dress that sways with each step. Her dark hair cascades down her shoulders. She moves with purpose, grabbing her bag and keys, all while trying to piece together her morning routine. Her steps are purposeful, fueled by the desire to reach her office on time. The sounds of cars honking and people talking blend into a cacophony, adding to her sense of disarray. The sound of honking horns and bustling city life surrounds her, creating a symphony of urgency. Sarah glances at her watch, anxiety flickering in her eyes. As she turns a corner, she notices a commotion up ahead. Her curiosity piqued, she quickens her pace and sees two people engaged in an argument on the sidewalk. The scene unfolds before her, capturing her attention. A middle-aged man with furrowed brows and a stern expression stands facing his daughter, a young girl around 8 years old. His voice is filled with anger and frustration. Sarah's heart sinks as she witnesses the interaction. The pain in the young girl's eyes resonates with her own experiences of feeling small and powerless in the face of authority. This scene takes Sarah back to her past memories. The rhythm of her steps matches the beat of her racing heart, a constant reminder of the pain she carries within. Sarah's inner voice is barely audible amidst the noise of the city, a faint echo of her inner turmoil. A younger Sarah stands face to face with her father, their voices rising in a heated argument. The air crackles with tension, the weight of betrayal hanging heavy in the room.
"How could you lie to us? To Mom? To me?"
said Sarah to her father.
"I had my reasons, Sarah. You don't understand,"
he replied. Emotion washes over her face as she recalls the day her father left their family. Sarah takes a deep breath, realizing the impact her father's departure had on her life and the journey they've all taken since then. She recalls the phase when her mother passed away soon after her father left the family and how difficult it was for her to get on her feet. The city seems colder now, the once vibrant streets echoing her inner turmoil. Sarah's steps become heavier as she recalls her father's betrayal of her. She enters her office building, her steps heavy and her expression burdened with sadness. The familiar sounds of ringing phones and clicking keyboards echo in the open space as her colleagues go about their morning routines. Sarah walks past her coworkers, who exchange friendly greetings, but her mind seems elsewhere. Her face is pensive, brows furrowed with deep thought. She seems lost in her own world, barely noticing the people passing by. As Sarah approaches her desk, she sets her bag down with a sigh. She takes a moment to gather herself, trying to shake off the weight that has settled on her shoulders. Sarah stares at her computer screen, her mind wandering back to the memories that haunt her. As Sarah gazes towards the screen, lost in her thoughts, her phone suddenly vibrates, jolting her from her reverie. She picks it up and sees a text message from her best friend, Emily. A glimmer of curiosity sparkles in Sarah's eyes as she opens the message.
"Hey, Sarah. All of our friends would be joining us for dinner today at the same restaurant where we have dinner every weekend, and I know it's Thursday today, but I want you to join us too. I'll be waiting for you. Don't be late. See ya."
Emily's message. Sarah's weary expression transforms into one of surprise and excitement.
"I'll be there too,"
Sarah replied. A smile spreads across her face, brightening up the room. As Sarah resumes her work, a newfound sense of light fills the office. The once heavy atmosphere transforms into a more vibrant and hopeful space. It was around 6:30 p.m. when Sarah's office is filled with the buzz of activity as colleagues gather their belongings and prepare to leave for the day. Sarah sits at her desk, wrapping up her work with a sense of relief. She takes a cab to reach the restaurant. As she pays money to the driver, Emily and the rest of her friends greet her with a smile. Sarah walks alongside her friends as they approach a charming restaurant in the heart of the city. The evening air is filled with excitement and the promise of good company and delicious food. The hostess leads them to a cozy booth near a large window, providing a beautiful view of the city lights. They settle in, sliding comfortably into the plush seats. The group settles into an animated conversation, sharing stories and laughter, occasionally pausing to take sips of their drinks. They pass around forkfuls of their dishes, indulging in a friendly food-sharing ritual. As the meal progresses, their plates empty, and their laughter continues to fill the restaurant. Suddenly, Sarah's phone vibrates on the table, interrupting the cheerful ambience. She glances at the screen and notices an incoming call from her aunt. Sarah steps away from the noise of the restaurant, finding a quiet corner near the lobby to take the call. Her aunt informed her that the doctors have said that her father is having a terminal illness and that his condition is advanced and there was no cure.
Your father has expressed a deep desire to see you. He understands the mistakes he's made and wants to make amends. This journey won't be easy, but it's an opportunity for healing and peace. Your father has realized the impact of his choices and wants to reconnect with you. Take your time to decide, but remember that time is precious,
Said aunt. Sarah's grip tightens on her phone as emotions swirl within her. Her heart sinks at the news, a mixture of emotions flooding her mind. She immediately says goodbye to her friends and leaves the restaurant. On her way home, Sarah's thoughts drift back to the moments she shared with her father, the love and the pain that accompanied them. Emotions tug at her heart, and a mix of apprehension and longing fills her being. As she reached home, she sits on the edge of her bed, her face illuminated by the soft glow of a bedside lamp. Her mind is filled with the weight of recent conversations and the prospect of reconnecting with her father. She clutches a family photo in her hands, her eyes fixed on the image of a younger version of herself, her father and her mother, all smiling together.
I can't deny that a part of me has always longed for that connection, for the chance to understand and forgive. Life is too short to hold on to anger and resentment. Maybe it's time to embrace the possibility of healing for both of us,
Said Sarah. She places the photo gently on her bedside table, a symbol of the past that she is willing to revisit. With newfound determination, Sarah reaches for her phone and calls her aunt to inform her that she would be visiting her dad the next morning. The next morning, Sarah reaches the hospital and stands outside the room, her hand clutching the doorknob. Anxiety and anticipation swirl within her, a mix of emotions that threaten to overwhelm her. With a deep breath, she pushes the door open and steps inside. The room is bathed in a gentle, soothing light. The soft hum of medical equipment fills the air. Sarah's eyes immediately find her father, John, lying in the hospital bed, his frail form a stark contrast to the memories she holds. John looks up, his eyes meeting Sarah's with a mixture of surprise and relief. A faint smile tugs at the corners of his lips. Sarah approaches the bed and takes a seat on the chair beside him, their eyes locked in a long-awaited reunion. John's eyes fill with tears, his vulnerability laid bare.
I am so sorry, Sarah. Sorry for the pain I caused for leaving you and your mother. I never should have walked away.
Said John. Sarah replied.
It's taken time, but I've come to understand that holding on to anger and resentment only keeps us locked in the past. I want to move forward, to rebuild our relationship, even if it's in these difficult circumstances.
They sit in silence for a moment, their shared pain and determination filling the room. John said,
Thank you for giving me this chance, Sarah. I don't deserve it, but I'm grateful beyond words.
We all deserve a chance at redemption, Dad. Life is too short to hold on to resentment. Let's make the most of the time we have and cherish each moment.
Sarah replied. They continue their conversation, sharing stories, laughter, and tears. In this park, amidst nature's embrace, Sarah and her father embark on a journey of forgiveness, healing, and the rekindling of a bond long overdue. As they release their embrace, a sense of peace washes over them. The weight of the past begins to lift, replaced by a newfound hope and the promise of healing. Sarah embraces the peace that forgiveness has bestowed upon her. The weight that once burdened her spirit has been replaced with a renewed sense of hope and possibility. The weight of the past no longer holds her back, and she embraces the joy of forging a new chapter in their lives. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past or diminish the pain, but it allows us to move forward, free from the shackles that held us captive. It is a gift and a step towards healing and reclaiming our own happiness.